Mabuhay everyone, Mark Tris here, welcome to the channel, and today I'll be comparing you the all-new PG5 from Nike, and of course another signature sneaker from Nike, which is the KYRIE7. So let us find out the main differences between these two sneakers and which one is for you. So let's go! But before we start with this video guys, I still have an ongoing raffle for the basketball giveaway from Star. Thank you again Star for sponsoring the basketball giveaway. If you want the full performance review of each of its sneaker, I'll be putting some banners or tags here, and it will link to the performance review of the PG5 and the KYRIE7. So let's touch up with the uppers of these two sneakers. Both sneakers have mesh upper. It is kind of fused, and what made it different from all other mesh, including the PG5's mesh, is it became a little bit thinner. At the same time, it is soft. It is fused, but not too fused to the extent that it becomes very crunchy. This one, after several use, becomes really soft, which I like better compared to the mesh upper of the PG5. Although the PG5's mesh upper is still very nice, but the KYRIE7's upper, it is thinner, so it has more ventilation. At the same time, the same amount of support that you'll be getting from the mesh upper of the PG5, or actually the upper of the KYRIE7, is a little bit more supportive, at the same time more durable compared to the PG5's mesh upper, which is kind of softer. The fusing really gives you another level of durability for the upper of the KYRIE7s. And as for lateral and medial support of both sneakers, of course the KYRIE7 has this kind of 4 fingers that will wrap around your foot and pull your foot down to the footbed, which is really nice when you really tighten the laces. While on the PG5, this synthetic leather that is fused on the upper does the same. It really holds you down to the footbed, giving you lateral and medial support. So I would say support on the midfoot part of the sneaker are very good. They really hold you down to the footbed, especially if you're doing lateral moves. Both the sneakers are really made for very shifty players that wants to do side steps a lot, like PG and KYRIE. So I would say both midfoot support, you will never go wrong on these two sneakers. And going to the back part or heel part of these two sneakers, both have internal heel cup, and of course the KYRIE goes up more, so it's a mid-cut sneaker compared to the PG5, which is a low-cut sneaker. So it really depends on your preference. If you like a low-cut sneaker, PG5, especially if you want extra ankle support, the KYRIE7 is for you. And as for the Achilles pillows on both sneakers, the KYRIE has a thinner Achilles pillows, but heel containment lockdown is very good on the KYRIEs. KYRIEs have always been known to have excellent lockdown, heel containment, so you will never go wrong on the KYRIE7s. While on the PG5s, they really have thick Achilles pillows that really holds you down to the footbed, so heel containment, heel lockdown for a low-cut sneaker like the PG5 is still awesome. And like I said, both have amazing heel lockdown, containment, and ankle support, but of course ankle support a little bit better on the KYRIE7 since it's a mid-cut sneaker. But you will never go wrong between these two sneakers. It's just a matter of preference if you like a mid-cut or a low-top sneaker. And as for the weight around the heel, of course the KYRIEs is a little bit heavier since it's a mid-cut, but both sneakers are very well balanced. Unlike the old KYRIEs, which has a big heel cup, external cup on the heel, which makes the shoe a little bit heavier in the back, but I still love this KYRIE6, especially this Manila colorway and the pink pair that I had. Now going on to the lacing system and tongue of these two sneakers. And as for the tongue part of both sneakers, they are both very well padded. It's very easy to put your foot in on both sneakers. Even if the KYRIE7 is a mid-cut sneaker, it is still very easy to put your foot in. And now moving on to the midsole and cushion of these two sneakers. Of course, the main highlight on the PG5's cushion are the mountains that I've been raving about in all my previous reviews of the PG5. This mountains, the cushion that goes up, or the phylon that goes up on the lateral side and medial side of the PG5, really helps out in the lateral support of the PG5s, which is really good. While on the KYRIE7, this plastic on the cushion also goes up, but it's a harder plastic. It also contains you laterally, while on the middle part, the traction also goes up on the KYRIE7, cupping your foot really nicely on the KYRIEs. And on the PG5, it does that similar thing. Both sneakers in terms of support are very, very much at par because the right combination of this cushion going up, and while on the KYRIEs, this plastic doesn't come up that much, but the upper is very nicely fused. It has the right balance in terms of support with the upper and this TPU plate on the lateral side. So I would say they're pretty much the same in terms of support, especially around the forefoot part of the sneaker. And it also goes the same with the heel part of the sneaker. Although this is a low-cut sneaker, the cushion of the PG5s also goes up around the heel laterally and medially. But on the KYRIEs, the materials around the lateral part and medial part of the heel are very nicely padded to give you that extra support that you need. So I would say even on the heel, they're pretty much the same in terms of support. And of course, the cushion also goes up a bit more, but not as high as this mountains found on the PG5s. And now moving on to the cushion of both sneakers. Both sneakers have Phylon carrier, but on the KYRIEs, it has a zoom turbo in the forefoot, but just Phylon material for the heel cushion. While on the PG5s, it has a full-length air strobo. So the main difference between these two cushion setup, if you want bounciness in the forefoot, the KYRIE7 by default is a lot bouncier in the forefoot compared to the PG5, which on the PG5, you will feel the impact protection in the forefoot. So what you'll feel on the KYRIE7 is a spring back, while on the PG5, you will feel it sagging. So impact protection in the PG5 is very relevant, especially in the forefoot area if you're comparing it with the KYRIE7. And as for the heel cushion, this is where I choose the PG5s better compared to the KYRIEs because of course the PG5 has a full-length air strobo. Impact protection in the heel is very nice. At the same time, the Phylon really compresses a bit more compared to the KYRIE7. And the KYRIE7's Phylon feels a little bit thinner, especially for impact protection. So I like the impact protection more on the PG5s compared to the KYRIE7. So it really depends on your preference, guys. So if you want a bouncier feel and you wouldn't mind the impact protection that much on the heel, KYRIE7 is for you. But if you want impact protection from the forefoot and a very nice impact protection in the heel, so of course the PG5 is the one that you would choose. And as for the thickness of the cushion, the combination of the cushion, the Phylon, the air, the zoom turbo, I would say they're pretty much equal. Court feel, responsiveness, very much alike. It really depends on your preference if you want impact protection or bounciness. Now let's move on to the outsole of both sneakers. Both have mid-foot shank plate, but you would see it here more on the PG5. So when you bend the PG5, there's a little spring back. But on the KYRIEs, it also springs back. So they're pretty much alike in that aspect. And as for twisting, you can twist more the KYRIEs a bit compared to the PG5s. For the outsole of both sneakers, this has a spiral traction. And the KYRIE7 has more of the data-driven pattern traction. And the main difference that I noticed between these two tractions, the rubber patterns on the KYRIEs are a bit thicker compared to the PG5s. The PG5's traction pattern is a lot thinner compared to the KYRIEs. It is made out of very hard rubber and the lines are continuous, so it won't tear that easily. So I would say outdoor use, they are both okay. Of course, FYI, my pairs have XDR rubber, which is the EP release here in Asia. They have extra durable rubber, so both pairs are really made for outdoor use. And as for durability, I would say slight advantage on the KYRIEs because the rubber pattern's a little bit thicker. But in terms of grippiness and traction, the squeak level on the KYRIEs is a little bit more because the rubber compounds are a little bit thicker and more rigid. It doesn't bend that much, so thus resulting for a louder squeak. While on the PG5s, it squeaks on some directions. So when I was trying out here on my floor, it's a little bit dusty. The KYRIEs were squeaking a bit more compared to the PG5. Well, it was just squeaking on some directions, going back and not going forward. I think the main reason there is because the PG5's tread pattern is a lot bit flexier compared to the KYRIE's pattern, which is really rigid. So this one is flexier but still very durable, so don't get me wrong with that. They are thin, very flexible, but still very durable rubber. And as for grippiness, indoor, outdoor court, pretty much the same. Grips really nicely for indoor and outdoor use. So it really just depends on your preference. But one thing that I really like on the PG5 is how flat it is on the surface. I like the stability on the PG5 more compared to the KYRIES, but it's really my preference because I like it to be more stable. It really depends on your style of play. If you're a shiftier guard, I think the KYRIE is better for you because you can move side to side with a more fluid motion compared to the PG5s, which is more for planting your foot for a jump shot, compared to the KYRIES, which is made more for shiftier guards who likes to drive more to the basket. But take note, it's not too curved compared to the KYRIE Force. I think this is a little bit flatter. And comparing the width, I would say they're pretty much equal. The main difference is just the lateral outrigger and how flatter the PG5s are. And as for the heel-to-toe transition, the PG5 has a very nice curve, while the KYRIES also has that. So I would say the KYRIES has a little more curve from heel to toe compared to the PG5s. But both sneakers have a very nice heel-to-toe transition. And like I've said, if you're running up and down the court a lot more, the KYRIES are a better option. And as for the sizing of both sneakers, go true to size if you're a regular footer. And for a wide footer, I think right now, the KYRIES are a little bit wider in terms of the forefoot, midfoot part. So if you're a wide footer, the KYRIES are a better option. But if you really like the PG5s, go half a size up, or if you can try it in store soon, go try it first. And as for the pricing of both sneakers, $6,900 for the KYRIES, $5,900 for the PG5s. So $20 cheaper for the PG5s. So although some KYRIES are on sale now. And as for the weight, PG5 is 390 grams, while the KYRIES are 410 grams. So 20 grams lighter on the PG5s. So that's it on my comparison between the PG5s and the KYRIE7s. I hope I help you guys out in choosing between these two sneakers. This has been Marcus once again. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.